Now you should have that tabular structure ready in front of you, and you are just going to check here with me that if your answer is correct or not. So here is the structure, and we are going to see if now we have $1, what would happen to this $1 after 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, if the interest rate is 5%, if the interest rate is 10%, if the interest rate is 15%. So let's go and see. What we want to do is future value, and the rate is 5%. So I'm gonna freeze it so it doesn't move when I'm copy and paste the formula. And here we have the number of years. Again, I'm gonna freeze it so it doesn't move. We don't have any payment. And what is the present value? The present value is 1. So here it is telling us 1.28, and see what happens after 20 years. So if I invest my $1 in a place and on average I get 5% per year, that's not bad. After 20 years, I would have 165% return on my investment, as you can see here. And here I'm checking it for the other values, and here are the results. And now you can compare that after 20 years with 10% interest rate, you will have 6.73 times the original investment. That is considerable and like that. So you see that differences would be exponentially become larger and larger. Maybe the fact that they are negative is bothering you, because when you get money here, you receive money, it is positive. So when it is positive, you need to return it. That becomes negative. You see how smart and well designed this spreadsheet for doing the financial analysis or analyzes. And so if you want the returns to be positive, just change this to negative. And just the point is that I didn't use this, so I'm gonna make these ones negative, and here I'm gonna change the formula, as you can see here, to -1. So now they are positive. Here we have the schematic or visualization of the same table, and of course it's much more revealing about the differences after 20 years. It is financial management, my friends. Welcome to the world of financial management, and all these analyses, all these analyses that help you to better decision making. Another example that is not very different from the previous one, but gives you a cleaner perspective on the challenges you are about to do. Okay, $100 were deposited in a saving account, okay, for 1 year. pays 6% compounded quarterly. So that's the difference between this and the previous ones, my friends. Before you do that, you are gonna get these deposited, so you are paying. So at 0 it would be 100. Don't worry, I'm not gonna spoil the problem. And after 1 year it is asking you how much you will have. But the point is that the interest is compounded quarterly. So how many payment you have here, interest payment, that they are going to be compounded for? 1, 2, 3, and 4. What does it mean? It means that you are gonna get interest on this 100 here, and the interest you are getting here will be used for the interest here, here, here. So it is asking you to do that question, so pay attention to that. So when it says pays 6% compounded quarterly, it means that it's 6% annually. It is 6%. Here we have double L. Okay, so when it is 6% annually, because by default they are annually, so it means that it pays 1.5% quarterly. Again, I refer you to the point I mentioned before, that learn to think clearly, structured. Don't let the surface complexity of financial problems confuse you. So it's a very simple problem. Just it says the payment, the interest payment is quarterly, but the number is annually. So what you are going to do, you are going to convert this annual number to quarter. That would be 1.5. So you have 1.5 for period and 100. See what is the future value. Stop the video, start working on that. Here we have the answer. As I told you, the interest rate for quarter is 1.5 because the annual is 6%. Always pay attention to all these calculations. Real world, any bank, all these follow the same formula. N is 4, and you can get the future value through this, or if you don't like it, you prefer Excel to do everything, so put I, 1.5%, N is 4, no PMT, PV minus 100, and answer is 106.14. You should get the same answer as here. Here in this slide, you see the documentation of what we just experienced in the previous one. That's a very simple rule, that when you have such a thing that it says they pay 6% annually, when they say the interest rate is 6% annually, but they pay compounded quarterly, this 6% is called nominal interest. It is not real because they say that it is 6% annually, but they are paying compounded quarterly. So here is the point, that it says that they said that when you are talking about that period, that's correct. For example, you say that the quarter interest rate is 1.5%, but you cannot say that for the annual. For the annual, you should say it is nominal. And as you can see, it has been documented here beautifully. And nominal interest rate per year. The annual interest rate, of course, without considering the effect of any compounding, is 12% per year. So what it is per month? If they pay the interest monthly, it would be 12% over 12, so equal 1 And please don't overcomplicate anything. Make sure you understand everything. And the reason I'm emphasizing on understanding everything, because we are now doing the basic and the foundations of financial management, and it's very important you feel confident and completely dominant on all the things that we are discussing. And of course, you have noticed that we are constantly working on same formula for doing all these things. And again, we are tackling this formula in understanding it from different perspective in different context. Now it's the time to consider some cases with payments. As you can see in this cash flow diagram, there are payments here. It is considered payments when they are being paid on a regular basis. They are not just occasional and rare payments during the repaying period. They are being paid regularly, and we are very familiar with this type of payments: mortgage, leases, many things that we have. So these are the payments, because absolutely I give you right if you say that it is the same as the other ones. I can go ahead and calculate the present value of this payment. Okay, P1. Present value of this payment, P2. Present value of this payment, Pn minus 1. And I sum them all and I get the present value. Bingo, very good. If you have that approach to this type of thing. So we are going to make it a little bit easier. And as you can see in the examples in this slide, it says automobile loans. We have regular payments, mortgage payments, insurance premium, monthly rents, and all those things. So the world around us are full of payments. That's the reason we want to make it easier, because if you want to take that approach that calculate the present value or future value of these individual payments, and at the end you sum them all up, it takes so much time. So it's better for us to come up with some straight and direct formula. And as you can see, estimated future cost and benefit. Not only estimated future cost and benefit, yeah, it is. It is the estimated future cost and benefit, because the point I wanted to say, let me tell you, I wanted to say that it is also estimated present costs, because it's correct that you want to see how much is the value of this in future, and also you want to see how much is the value of this now. So you are able to do that comparison or analysis better. So now we want to work on the situation where we have payments, my friend. Again, you can handle payments exactly like the previous cases that we did, but now we are after more efficient approaches for doing so. Before we close this video, I want to share with you this example. Now, if you have stayed caught up during the course, I should tell you, you should be very good with this example, even without having another example to how to handle payments in financial analysis. Okay, $500 deposited in a credit union pays 5% compounded annually. So everything is real. At the end of each year, for 5 years, how much do you have after the 5th deposit? One of the things that you need to also learn when you are working in the field of finance, they have their own terminology. So try to understand what the scenario is trying to tell you. Do not, I agree with you, at first it may seem ambiguous why they are not more described more clearly. I agree with you, but you need to get used to it because it is the standard way, exactly like the way the verbiage, how they put it into words in accounting. So here it says that $500 deposited in a credit union pays 5% compounded annually at the end of each year for 5 years. So it is talking about what, my friends? It is talking about payments, because it says that it happens every year at the end of the year. So year 1, year 2, 3, 4, 5. End of year 1, end of year 2, year 3, and 5. 500 deposited. So 500, 500, 5, 5, and 5. So now what you have that PMT. And I just want you to use Excel sheet to handle these things before I show you the answer. So you have this, and it says that 500 deposited in a credit union, and here also telling you the interest rate is 5%. At the end of each year for 5, how much do you have after the 5th deposit? So it is asking you how much do you have. Since you always have paid, so you are gonna get money this time. What is this? It is F. Now go ahead, and you don't need to stop the video because it is the end of this video, and try to get the answer. Oh no, let me show you the answer. Let me show you the answer. So stop the video and try to get the answer for this question before I show you the answer. And here is the answer. And believe me, I'm not kidding. It is that much simple. It is that much similar to the other things. So here we have the cash flow, as you can see. And here we go for the calculation. Since we want the future value, you put FV. Here we put the interest rate like the previous cases that we had. Here we put the NPR, the number of periods, and here for the first time we are putting payments. So our payments are not 0 anymore. And for PV, we put 0 because we are not depositing anything now. We are putting everything at the end of each year. And as always, feel free to reach out if you have any question regarding any part. So this person, after 5 years, gonna get $2,763.